Adjectives. That's gonna fall. What's up, man? What's up, homebrews? I need this camera thing to happen for me because I need it as like a thought process for me to be able to remember things and come back on them when I need them. So I'm gonna start recording this. I started recording. Take one. Action. Plurals. More than one is two, right? More than one is a plural. One person, two people. People is the pronoun? No. Let me see. People is the person is a person. One person, two people. These people. I need to Google for this. A pronoun. Right. It's just a noun. What's a pronoun? People is just a noun. What is a pronoun? Thank you, Google. Right. Replacing nouns. Pronouns are words that replace nouns, often to refer to people without constantly repeating their names. Right. They can also refer to things or ideas. Common pronouns include he, she, they, it, we, would, and you. Oh, I see, like gender pronouns. Yeah, right. Yeah, but it's not, because that's gender. That's gender freaking. That's gender. That's how some people want to be seen, but or said. But what I'm trying to figure out right now, people, is what is like the word for someone who, the word, right? It's like you as a person, but it's like, like as like a whole. You know what I mean? Because I've been thinking about this today. Like, what is a pronoun? Like, what is a person that knows how to exist properly in the world? And there's just no like. I'm trying to think of the word, but I've been thinking for a while. Well, I need to think of it because I want to come up with it. But it's like if you're like, say, doing, if you were called, well, like, what's the word for a person who is a person but is like in the middle of it's like in a group setting, and they talk, like, say a leader is talking to, let's say a captain's talking to his team about in the halftime about the second half and how they need to all get better and they need to all switch on. They need to focus. But like, how is he referring to them? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's he referring to? How is he referring to them as a people? As he's talking to them, how is he referring to them as a person or as a group, like as a team? Obviously, he's not like, hey team. Or he might say that, but hey guys, right? Like, hey guys, hey men, stand up for yourself, man. Be a man. No, I don't know. But yeah, no, it's interesting. Like a team player, you know what I mean? But it's a plural? No, plurals are, let me have here we go, plurals. Pronouns, plurals. I didn't pay attention in class. Yeah, children are, yeah, that makes sense. Plurals are like, wow. Plurals, sorry, just had lunch. All right, plural verbs. Plural verbs. verbs. Agree, drop. One goose, two geese. What is a plural for person? People? Right. So what is a pronoun? I just had a look at that. So the plural of person is people, while persons is also technically a plural form. It's generally used in more formal or legal contexts, while people is the more common versatile plural. People can also be used as a singular noun to refer to a community. That's what I'm talking about, mate. We as people, right? In which case the plural is peoples with an S. That's what I was looking for. So people as a plural, person is a people is a plural of person. But peoples when you're referring to a community or a population, it is peoples. Come on, peoples. And then more casually we say guys. And then that gets misconstrued into, no, we can't have guys. I'm not a guy, I'm a girl. Oh man. But anyways, peoples. But I think it's more like I don't think that's right in the way what I'm looking for. It's like it is plurals, right? But it's like, what is plural? What is a plural, man? Like a plural form. A plural. Like a point of view. You know what I mean? Like an outsider's perspective or an outsider's point of view. Like multiple people's outsider's perspective or multiple outsiders point of views. What are they called? You know what I mean? Like what are those people? What are they saying to how are you being referred to as a person? Because I couldn't be a people being referred to by another people. You know what I'm... It's so crazy. I'm getting freaking crazy. No, but like, you can't be referred to as a... You could be referred to as a person. Like, hey, look at that guy over there. Look at that girl over there. Look at that man. Look at that person over there. Look at that guy. Look at that person over there. But what if I was in a group talking about somebody over there? Oh God, talking to my group about that person. Talking to my group about that person's hair color, say. You know? Like, oh, look at that guy's hair color. What color is that? People? What color is that? What color is that guy's hair? Guys. He would say guys because it's social and just easy to say, and he'd just say guys. Hey guys, look at that over there. Look at that bird. Hey guys, look at that bird. Oh well, there you go. It's not too complicated as I think. I like to overcomplicate this. I like to simplify, but simplicity is actually not right, mate. It's the altruistic way of life. Verbs are actions. I want this. It's a phrase. It's a way of saying something when you're referring to yourself. It's like you refer to yourself, but in a situation that needs the hindsight, I guess, or you need to be seen as a person, but you're not really a person. Only if, in my opinion, at least, I think that, you know, like being aware, and forming your habits around, like how like, I don't know, like physical and non-physical, right? Like, physical might be like what car you drive, right? Like, that's pretty like subjective, right? Or yeah, that's pretty subjective because, like, I think like if you have like a really pretty flashy car, you probably, I mean, I want a flashy car. I don't want to judge someone because they have a nice car, because that's degrading someone, right? It's like, oh shit, I mean, oh crap, look at that guy and he's freaking Ferrari. It's either you see it as it's like beautiful, or it's, or he drives it beautifully, or it's just in such pristine condition, or it's an older guy driving a 1974, Porsche Carrera GTS R or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know if that exists, but like, like in that line, like, he's owned it for 50 years. He loves it. He appreciates it. And he wouldn't be 50 if he bought the car in 1965. Oh, he might be. No, he'd be 60. But the point, so, but like, like, it is worth its weight. Its value holds itself. Those cars, they do. And you don't see them very often. That's true. But if I was to see like a nice like Murcielago on the street in the city or something, I don't know, or even in the suburbs, but like, I saw it and it was just being used as like a freaking car, like, shouldn't be, I don't know, like, people who have found their way in ownership of like beautiful things that have so much energy put into them, and abuse like that freaking, that the value of what they have, then it's not like, what is your automated response to something that is degrading, is being degraded in life, whether it's physical or like like manufactured, or if it's a human being, you know what I mean? Like, what's your automated response, right, to like that, what's going on there? Would you automatically think like, oh, this is crap, like, why has this person got this freaking beautiful thing, like, I feel so crap about that, and I think that, if I had $1 million and to spend on a car, obviously, how would I treat my car? And would it be worth, would the $1 million that I spent on my car, like, would I drive it like $1 million? Like, would I drive it like $1 million car? Or would I drive it like a $3,000 car? Like, what? How do you see that? How do you see that in real life, if you were ever to come across something in that sort of like degrading way? Like, like, how do you see that? You know what I mean? That's just sometimes how I think about those types of things. But yeah, like, like, if you saw it like, if you're just sort of like, if you think like, if you choose to say something that requires love, and requires something that you can put your energy into, your time, and like your qualities into, then obviously it's going to become a reflection of yourself, and how you treat yourself, and how you treat other people, and how other people treat you. You know what I mean? So like, like, how you treat yourself, it reflects. But like, 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 it's obviously not simple to just like go, oh, hey, let's just all treat each other like with this, with respect, the same amount of respect that I need, because what I need can't always be what you need. That's subjective thought. You know what I mean? Like, what you need, what I need, in the sense that, you know, like, going off the point, you know, that sometimes we want to be around each other, or you want to feel wanted. That's, you know, is your is what you want, and it's like, you know, like, not only is it your wants that are taken into account by somebody else that make you feel like a freaking human being, you know, in the end of the day. Sometimes, you know, like, if you don't, if there's something like that that's lacking in your life, you know, but at the same time, being left out is kind of like how you've adapted in your life for whatever reason. Like, you know, like, some, like, adaptability, and how we change, and how we age, even, you know, can be like can be something that is like a behavior pattern, you know, in our life. You know, the challenging, sometimes harder than you think to overcome, but sometimes the most important thing to address. So yeah, anyways, very interesting. But yeah, I've just been looking for this word. Like, what is a person who is talking about something that he is, or something that he is, how he sees himself as a person. Like greeting is maybe a really good example of that. This, like, how I would greet someone, like a friend or a neighbor or a colleague, you know, at work, or, you know, like someone I run into at the gym often, or frequently enough for me to go up to them every single time I saw them, and just check in with them, or just see how they're going, because I want to do that. Or, you know, like, they want to do that, you know, like, how would I like, what's the way I would, how would I talk to them, and what would I use to greet them? Usually, like, in any circumstance, for me, you know, like, I probably go straight up to him, shake his hand. If I remember his name, shake his hand and say, hey, his name, and pretty much, you know, talk about what's relevant or what I can think about, and what I can control. You know what I mean? In the situation. You know, in my thoughts. You know what I mean? Like, you know, sometimes when you're getting to know someone, it's like, oh, like, you know, it's simple, and it's like it is as simple, right? And it is like as stupid sometimes, and it makes you feel stupid when you're saying it. But it's like as simple as, oh, you know, like, it's raining outside. It's like, oh, it's raining outside, isn't it? Like, this damn weather. It's so crap outside. And that's just something that you can obviously, like, relate to, you know, and then, you know, like, if it's relatable enough in this world, you know what I mean? Then obviously you're going to get some reception from that person. But, you know, like, 6 weeks in, you want that. If you've been going to the gym for 6 weeks in a row straight, you know what I mean? And you've seen the same person over and over again. You're going up to them every day, pretty much your best friends at this point. You know what I mean? And you might even be training together. You might be growing together at this point, 6 weeks in. But, like, you know, like, say, like, 2 weeks in, it might be at more of a personal level, you know, like, hey, like, you know, like, you know each other's names, you know, like, your routines, and at this point in time, you're kind of, like, wondering, you know, like, what you ate for breakfast, you know, or how you slept the night before, or like, you know, like, like, I don't know, paying attention to how they're improving, and complimenting that person on how they're improving so much. And, like seeing them change as a person, and seeing how that sort of like that change sort of like changes, like that change kind of, like motivates you even sometimes, to get better in the gym, say, or, motivates you to sort of like, to sort of like see that person in a different light, but, and then it's kind of like, hey, how are you? And the conversations are deep and deeper, getting deeper and deeper. And like it's becoming very informal now, and, it's kind of like the relationship is growing, and you become like more aware of each other, I guess you could say. But like, that's one thing that like is really good, and it's a good sort of like analogy, I guess, in a sense, like seeing how someone can change and seeing how you can, and seeing how that changes you as a person as well, like that is also like a really nice thing to like see in somebody else, right? And like, so, but like and that is growth, I guess, in the end of a day. And like, personal growth and taking responsibility over your life and taking action in your life, it is hard to do, because sometimes it is only yourself telling yourself, right? Like, I have to get up today. I have to not eat crap today. I cannot drink too much coffee today, because it's affecting my sleep or something, or like, like I today I cannot, binge on ice cream, you know what I mean? Or if it's something to do with work, like, or if it's something that you realize that is a personal problem that is causing you stress in your life, and how you have to navigate those problems in order for you, to sort of like improve on yourself and progress, and sort of like, and to sort of push the boundaries, right? Because it is sometimes you that isn't doing so well, like that isn't changing. But but the personal growth side of things is always going to be the hardest thing to change, I think. But then sometimes it's crazy as stuff like asking, like, like the nuances of people that you're expected to understand in some people, but you just don't get, and then you just kind of like, what is this? What does that mean for that person? Like, why is that person like sometimes like, like a bit annoyed at me when I sort of like, flip through the pages too quick, or like swivel on my chair too fast or something, like for me it's fine, for them it's not, blah blah blah. You're supposed to understand that in some people, but those things are sort of like some things that you're not supposed to have to think about all the time, that you might have to start thinking about in life if you want your life to change, and the situations that are helping you, if the situations that are helping you in a personal or non-personal aspect of your life, if they're not changing, then sometimes it's good to reflect on what you might be doing wrong, and stop focusing on so much, other things in your life. But sometimes it is the small things, like if work's not changing, like if I'm doing crap at work, and like I'm not like my expectations of, sometimes I just want to go to work and I just want to work for 6 hours. I don't want to talk to anyone or something like that. If you rock up to work every day for the next 5 weeks and you do that, you won't expect friends. You won't expect probably too much, like banter. And for some people that's okay to not want some things in life, like You know, if you know, sometimes some people simply just don't care about expecting like friends out of like, say, a very personal job. You know what I mean? Like if you're the type of person who wants to go to work and just shows up every day and just hits the button for all the people who you're serving, and you're not like including other people in your day-to-day routines, and obviously you won't get friends for you. If that's okay for you, then you know that's fine. But if it's only okay for you, then why? Why? Of course you'd be doing it if it's okay for you. But if it wasn't, you wouldn't. But the point is that if it wasn't, you wouldn't. You'd have millions of friends. But if you think that if you go to work wanting something, but you're struggling to do the things that you want, even though you want to do it, like you are going out of your way to, like, what's the way of saying it? Like, if you're going out of your way to, like, start something, like start a conversation, like today, Jack wants to have a conversation with Emily, who he works with, you know, and that conversation he wants to talk, and the conversation he wants to make last for 20 minutes, but he can only make that conversation last for 2 minutes for whatever reason. Like, you know, like it's not necessarily his fault, even though he wants to, but that's kind of what the point that I'm trying to make is that, you know, like some people aren't so good at, like, you know, saying to themselves, following through on what they want to do, you know, like relating to people, like I said, like say about the weather, or like, you know, like something that's happening in the news, or something that's happening substantially across the world. That is a great way to start something, but you can only relate so much to somebody. You can only relate so much to another human being. And all people in general, right? Like, or everyone else. Like, you know, if all you're doing is relating to somebody, or like a large group of people, or just somebody you know, or people you know in general, with intention to grow as a person, you know, or engage in conversation that you're trying to like build a relationship, say, or you're trying to grow a relationship, or get closer to someone, or, you know, if that's your intention, but you you simply can't do anything better than relate, then, you know, it's in this world where we are 80% of the time just social, and we can be very like social, and understanding the difference between relating to someone and talking to someone on a personal level. For some people, some people don't know how to differentiate between the two. But that's sometimes why I think of like this common denominator of, like, you know, like, who am I referring to really when I'm talking, sometimes when I'm saying things to people that, like, I want to be able to want them to relate to, like, you know, like a conversation starter. Like, sometimes it's really excellent conversation starter, like we're both wearing the same blue t-shirt, you know, and you know, like you sort of catch each other seeing that we both have the blue shirt on, and we're sat like across from each other or something, and you know, that's such a good conversation starter, and it automatically, you know, like starts the fire of like a good conversation. But like, if the conversation, you know, like sometimes the conversation's so great that that it goes as far as like exchanging numbers or something like that. But they're people skills, and people skills are actually harder to like understand than you probably could understand, for some people to understand. And like that's sometimes That's a journey that some people take their whole life to like learn how to do. But like if you're really good at relating to people, that can get really dull. And some people do just like relating to other people, you know. Some people are really good at relating to other people. And but there's a great saying, right? Like there is a great saying that I read the other day. Like if you are only able to relate to people, then you won't go far in life. You know, like you won't go far in life because there's only so much that you can relate to. There are only so many days in the calendar year that you can tell someone about or you know, relate to someone about, you know. And there has to be like something else, you know, going on in your life, surely that you can come up with that is going to push past the point of relating to someone and move into the area of like, this is like showing yourself and showing who and sort of like, it's crazy, but it's like compromising. It's a bit of compromising yourself and who you are as a person, you know. And in that way, when you compromise, kind of like how you a bit of self-compromisation, you know, you kind of like enter into a different field with another person, and it's sort of like you know, bonds you to that person, you know, and makes you feel more like a person as well, you know. So but like you know, like it's a big one for people who don't know how to relate to other people, or people who like are saying a business, you know, who aren't, the reason why you're not doing so well in the business that you own, or your strategy to grow your freaking business isn't working for you, you know. Sometimes it's because you kind of like lack those social skills that other people just have, and they just are able to build like these freaking, you know, like big businesses that where they're just like on top of everything, you know, that they're social and they're obviously smart and they're driven and they've got like everything going for them, you know. But it's like, it is like who you are as a person and who you are with other people that is going to like define you as a person and what you represent as a person in this life. And like sometimes, you know, it is sometimes like about your mental health, you know what I mean? Like, and sorry, and like, you know, how you're going and how you're doing, and you know, you have those types of the conversations with some of your friends or people, you know, just in general. Sometimes it's just random people, you know, but like, you know, like there's a lot of that going on, you know, like, you know, mental awareness, you know, like being aware of other people is a big one, because sometimes you have to know how how other people are going, because sometimes people are so bad that they just literally can't look after themselves, you know. But like if you're what's the word, like if you know how to make someone feel better in the moment, you also know how you know the art of persuasion, you know, and you know how like this equates to, you know how like an idea, you know how to transform an idea into like, say, like a freaking you know, like something that sticks with somebody and like, you know, like drives them to like, you know, like your selling capability. Like if you're good at selling like a thought or an idea to someone, then obviously your mental health kind of, right, it kind of like it increases, you know, because then you're like, well, I know how to help people. I know how to make someone obviously feel better about themselves. I'm not trying to like pull a sheep over. I'm not trying to pull a sheep over your eyes, you know. Pull cloth over your eyes, you know. And I'm a legitimate man or something, you know, like like I mean what I say, and like, you know, like catching, say, like doing, like if you do this for yourself today, like this this is going to affect you like so good that, like, you know, like you're gonna feel so much better for yourself throughout the day, you know. So you might as well sometimes be talking to a psychologist about these problems, you know, because sometimes the psychologist is going to tell you, Jack, you need to relax, you know, man. You're stressing out too much about work, you know, or you're stressing out too much about things, your life in general, you know. You need to find time for yourself, and you need to just calm the horse, slow it all down, rein it in, you know, and just like give yourself like time to like recover in general, you know. But that's like obviously not so easy. But like if you do it, like then maybe like things are gonna change for you, you know. But like, yeah, I mean, that's not easy to do, and to be honest, you know, like if I'm not like that at all. I know when I need to relax, but like I think that I relax when I sleep. You know, I give myself enough time. I sleep 7 hours a night. That's enough. You have, you know, from 6 a.m., which is when the sun comes up, say, to 5 p.m. at night, which is when the sun goes down. You have the whole day for yourself to do what you want, to do whatever you want. You know, exercise. You know, you can do whatever you want. We talk to many. You can you know, like do whatever you can do with what limited time you have. You know, I believe that you should do that because, you know, this kind of thing too, it's important, you know, like just reflection of like yourself, your thoughts and that, and sort of sort of getting down to it, you know, addressing things in your life that make sense, and some things that you want to change, some things that you want to talk about, you know, some things that you feel very strongly about and you really want to like talk to, say, like, you know, if you want to reach a audience, you know, then make videos, you know, talk to yourself on YouTube and see how many people you can get on your YouTube channel, you know, and see how far it takes you. But then it's sometimes, you know, if you're not looking really, if you're looking to relate to people on the World Wide Web, you're not going to get a lot of enjoyment out of that because, you know, it's not really real, is it? There's some things that you feel so strongly about that you want to get out. And that's what YouTube is great for, or Instagram or Facebook, social media accounts where, you know, like you feel strongly about and other people sort of feel strongly about too, and want to hear, you know, and sometimes like the world can be very personal, and the world isn't really a good place to talk about your what you think, you know. Sometimes the world is not a great place to talk about what you think. So anyways, but the thing that we can do in the, like, obviously that is gonna help us in our personal life is, you know, find people that you can relate to, and then once you start relating, find people that you can be friends with, and then you know, hopefully once you start making more friends in the world, or in your, you know, in your daily life and in your daily movements and stuff like that, then hopefully like you're gonna then your life's gonna change, obviously, and then, you know, the quality of your life will increase. You know what I mean? Like you get more friends, and so that your personal relationships with other people grow and grow and grow, and then you can start to relate to people on a personal level, and then once you start doing that, then, you know, like you can really start like having great conversations with people you've known for years, and people who really encourage you to talk about your feelings and your emotions, not only to themselves but to other people as well. like how that can really change your life, and then like other things too, like then just having a relationship with someone where it is personal and that's all you want from it, Sometimes it's just a personal relationship, and then sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's more than a personal relationship, and sometimes it's more of like a like a different relationship. Like some people thrive on complex ideas, complex thoughts, and complex relationships. Some people freaking love it. Some people thrive on really complex thought. You know what I mean? Some people really thrive on that kind of stuff. And, especially a guy, I'm a perfect example of this. Like all I do is look for that kind of stuff. But like a guy who is looking for relationships, you know what I mean, in this world, with people who they can not only connect with, but also discuss topics that are complicated and that really push the limits of their of what, like brings them joy and fulfillment in their life, and like stimulates their headspace, and like drives the freaking headspace of somebody who thrives on that kind of complex ideas and complex thoughts. If you're that kind of person, then those relationships, they're like, once you have those relationships, obviously sky's the limit, and but sometimes they're hard to grow, because sometimes complex people come with a lot of complex thought, which is just freaking hard to navigate. And the law of attraction is also very hard to navigate as well with people with such complex thoughts. But sometimes people with complex thoughts need complex relationships to thrive. You know what I mean? Because if the conversation is kept only at a very minimal level, you know what I mean, where you're not able to really like even relate to somebody in your own way or your own sense, or in your own manner, then obviously the joy and the actual fulfillment that you feel in your life is obviously going to not be so powerful, and it's going to feel like sort of not strong enough for you as a person. But like, but that's so the complex thoughts that some people are having may not always seem so complex to you, or may not seem like they're even thoughts in themselves. They're just purely they're purely just like a like they're just something that you disregard as being like, oh, that was interesting, they said that, or why did they say that like 3 times in a sentence, like and what does that mean, and for some people it's fine. Some people thrive off that kind of stuff, but like I think that it's some people like want complex relationships. Some people who are complex, right, only want relationships that with people who are simple, because people who come with these traits of like complexity and like that freaking everything, like innovative, smart, complex, right, like they get like things differently than other people, not because they want to, but because they just do. And it's like they have all these things, but then it's like they have is that understanding that it's such a one-sided way of thinking that sometimes for people with that sort of like thought capability in their head, it's kind of like they realize that what they want from people is so nuanced that they're not going to get it, and 98% of the time, and they're actually going to have to rely on people in such a personal level that they realize that personal level is the best way to build your relationships upon and have relationships in your life, in the world. And that is the best way to build relationships, is to be personal and just keep it basic, keep it real, like simple, nothing crazy. Just keep it nice and basic. And smart people, complex people, you know, some of the smartest, some of the most driven people as well, you know, in the world realize this, and they realize that sometimes, you know, what they want doesn't really matter in the end of the day. And there's a lot more joy and fulfillment in simplicity, pretty much. So, you know, there you go. You know, some complex, some simple things in life can be, you know, can be quite, you know, come in different shapes and sizes. And, you know, sometimes the most basic people in the world usually sometimes are, and not all the time as well, because Basic Bob and Plain Jane, you know, usually are what they are. But look at me, right? This comes from Kmart. I've had it for 3 years. The pants I've got on, literally I've owned for years. I have not changed any of my clothes. I don't do anything but the same things. I like cooking different meals, you know, to keep life interesting and you know, try and explore different things. But, you know, I still drink instant coffee. You know, my hair's just as curly as it was the other day. You know, like, there's some things that, you know, some things that you just don't care about so much in this world. And sometimes the complex thought and the way that you see the world so differently to other people, or you know, like, even when you need the simplicity in the life, you don't have it. The simple way of life is usually the better way of living your life. And, you know, like, sometimes that's just how it is. But like, I sometimes, you know, I think like it's just important sometimes just to have yourself and have your simplicity, you know what I mean? Like, have the most simple, basic lifestyle that you can have, that you can live, and just milk it, you know, and just live real simple. And like, you know, be clean, just be clean, look after your body, you know, keep a good haircut. Not me, but like, you know, simple work, simple friends, simple family, you know, simple things, you know, that's what your aim is, you know, sometimes, not, and then the complex thoughts are some things that you can enjoy for yourself, you know, not always something that you have to, you know, help, like, push onto someone else. But yeah, so yeah, anyways, so yeah, complexity is an interesting one to think about, but also it's very good to be simple and keep it basic with people when you're trying to interact with them, you know, because simplicity is usually like a great way to stem the growth of is to start growing a good relationship, you know. Keep it simple, keep it basic. Yeah, man. But anyways, so there's 40 minutes. But yeah, no, so yeah, like, as I was saying, like, you know, like, be personal with people and try and keep things basic and simple and relate as much to people as you can. And then once life becomes too relative, then you gotta know when that happens, you know. Complex, you know, people who struggle with complex thought sometimes seem to get stuck in that realm of just relating to people because they can't freaking draw back the lines, you know what I mean? Like, they cannot bring it back to square one and just say, hey man, hey, you know, how are you today? Like, just bringing it back and just, like, you know, like, just sort of like, and it's not just people who it's not a matter of, sometimes it's like, oh, look at me, I'm a simple person, and I like being basic, I like being simple, you know, and sometimes it's like, you know, how is it that you are simple, you know, and why is it that you're like, tell me more about the simplicity in life. I'd like to know more, you know. I am a very, very simple person. I'm a very simple guy, very, very simple man. I honestly am very simple. But there are just some days where I want a bit of difference in my life. And as the Stoics say, like indifference, you know, like indifference is so important. If you don't have indifference, then what, like, you know, like there's not much, you know, simplicity is good. The basics is good. Some people work on that their whole lives, you know, just being normal and just being appropriate, you know, and just being who they are as a person, you know, and they love that. And then, but then, you know, there's a lot in this, there's a lot to know. And we are sponges, you know, and we soak in whatever we can. But like sometimes, you know, the smartest ones, the smartest people in the world, right, will read, like, love doing the same things over and over and over and over and over again, because that sort of like refreshment of something that they love doing again and again and again and again and again and again brings them so much joy and so much happiness that, like, like the same song, you know, they've listened to it like, you know, 5,000 times over the last 7 years, you know, and the song never changes, you know. Some people are like that, you know. But it's good to not be complacent too. That's where the mindset is so important, right? Is that, like, if your mindset never changes, some things need change. Some things you need to have difference in your life, and, you know, like, you need to know when it is time to do more things, and do more of the same thing over and over and over again. You get so good at it that that it's not the same thing to you anymore. It's more like a way of living your life, and that's something that also, like, you know, is a part of the experience and the enjoyment that you get out of, like, you know, for people with like that sort of like ideology, if I get up in the morning and I, you know, focus on one thing that I enjoy doing over and over and over again, it'll turn me into someone who, you know, I like, that someone who I admire or I respect, or someone who, you know, deserves, you know, that self-fulfillment and that self-enjoyment that person craves so much, you know. So, you know, those kinds of things are like very nuanced, and, you know, like very like like they require like a lot of like detail and a lot of they do require a lot of complex thought, you know. But like, in the end of the day, like, you know, it's complex, whether you're complex or you're just basic, you know, or you're simple, you know. There's like, you can be simple and still do really a lot of things with your life. You can also, if you thrive with complexity, I wrote it down here this morning. Enjoyment, I wrote this down, right? This is from me. So yeah, as I said, like, enjoyment and freedom, happiness and self-love basically mean simplicity to me. But there's something about simplicity that only gets you so far, and then there's more things, like if you have discipline, you have structure, you have routine, and then you have hard work. It's more about like freedom, and that is simplicity too, man. Like, having discipline in your life and having a disciplined routine in your life, you know what I mean? Having a structured, disciplined, hard routine that, and if you have enough of good structure that makes you efficient in how much work you can get done throughout the day or something like that. What that does for you, apart from the enjoyment, the freedom, the happiness, and the self-love, apart from all of those things, if you have the other stuff, the other things, then you get more out of life in general. Discipline, structure, routine, and hard work, they are all singular things that really, I think, are involved in personal growth and challenging your mindset, a challenged mindset in your life that like basically like that allows you to grow and like pushes like what you're capable of doing. You know what I mean? Like pushes your freaking complex thought, right? Or keeping it simple, like keeping it simple, finding enjoyment, but then the discipline, the structure, the routine, and the hard work, it applies to all of the simple things in life. It applies to enjoyment, because the simplicity is something that you get for yourself, and it is the enjoyment and the freedom and the happiness and the self-love that, and the discipline and the structure, and the routine and the hard work, they basically make you, they're the best form of enjoyment, they're the best form of freedom, they're the best form of happiness and self-love. Except that, like, once you have all of those other things, you become like, so much. It sets you apart from normal things in life, but like what? Like you're not supposed to, struggle your whole life, life is about life is about doing whatever you can do to to fulfill yourself, in your life, and get better and be hardworking, and be structured, be disciplined, be routine, find happiness, enjoyment, freedom, and love yourself, and then, there aren't many places for people like that, unfortunately, in this world, there's not many places for people who do these things, and who write about reliability, and they write about the fundamental beliefs and our fundamental beliefs, and moral antiquity, and I've been writing a lot, and people who focus on this freaking this freaking this cherry chocolate, right? This cherry chocolate inside our head, that is affording us this beautiful life that we're able to live, and it's kind of even and then you stuck, and then sometimes of course you're going to feel like you need to be different in this world, not only do you want to be different, you see the world differently, you don't just want to be different, it's like you are different, but it's like you respect that. If you love who you are as a person, it wouldn't matter if you're simple as hell or complex as shit. It doesn't matter. You could be the best simple person in the world, or you could be the best complicated person in the world, So, but yeah, it's just if you got brown hair, love it. If you got red hair, love it. If you got a lisp, love it. If you want to run 50 miles, then run 50 miles. Do it, train yourself, run 50 miles and do it again and again and again and again, and that could be something that you want to do. I don't know, but they're all things that if it drives you, then do it, let it drive you, let it push you, and let it become you, and yeah. Let it humiliate you, and then grow, and then learn, and let it, you allow failure in your life, fail and then learn how to get up and do it again until until you're the best. And then you learn about succession, and then you learn about how to be the best at something that was so freaking hard. You become the top 10% in the world at something, and then, you're flying high. You're flying high. So, that could be reading, or could be running, or weightlifting, or finding a skill or a trade or something that you want to explore for yourself, So yeah, anyways, it's been an hour. I've been talking. But yeah, anyways, I don't know, I thought I'd make a video about something. It's been good to chat. Chit chat about life and stuff, and maybe I think like it's something that I enjoy, so if you like doing it, like I said, you should really do it, and you should just keep it basic, keep it simple, and foster the growth and turn into something you want to do, properly, so yeah, man. All right, anyways, look, man, I'm gonna skedaddle. Thanks for the chat, and we'll see each other soon, I'm sure. But yeah, anyways, I gotta learn how to do this stuff properly, so it's always good to chat to the camera. I like doing it. It's freaking great. So yeah, anyways, if this doesn't change, something else will. For me. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, it's been good to chat. I'll see you later in the next video of life and stuff. Talking about people and the nouns and the plurals, and people, person, and we as people, and you as a person, and us as people, and yeah, trying to just get that shit going, trying to push yourself to every day to tell yourself that you're better than who you were the day before, so yeah. But anyways, it could get worse, but it's not, so I'll leave it there. No worries, man. All right, see ya. Have a good one, man. Take care of yourselves. I'm out. Peace out. Bye.